Hello, it is 9 a.m. in London, 6 p.m. in Tokyo. I'm Monita Rajpal. We welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world to our special coverage of the disaster in Japan. There are new reports. A third reactor at Japan's hardest-hit nuclear plant in Fukushima may now be in trouble. Authorities say the cooling system on Daiichi's number 2 reactor has stopped working and pressure has been building up inside. This follows a fresh blast earlier this Monday in the area that houses reactor number 3. 6 people were injured in that explosion. Officials say the likely cause was a hydrogen buildup. Radiation contamination levels are now being tested. Initial reports suggest they did rise after the incident, but Chief Cabinet Secretary Yukio Endano says he does not believe there has been a massive leak. Well, there have been more grim discoveries across Miyagi Prefecture. Kyoto News Agency reports around 2,000 bodies have been found in 2 locations. Police authorities have confirmed more than 1,600 deaths so far, with around 2,000 injured. At least 1,700 people are still missing. More now on the compromised nuclear power plant in Fukushima. Japanese media, quoting Japan's Nuclear Safety Agency, says the cooling system of reactor 2 stopped working today and pressure has been building up inside. This marks the 3rd reactor in trouble there. We'll see as Matthew Chance is in Moscow to explain the differences. And Matthew, first of all, there have been concerns, especially by those living in the area, and has been reported that they don't seem to believe what they're being told from the safety agency or the agency that's in charge of the nuclear systems there in the area. What are you hearing?
Well, I think there's an extent to which people in Japan have believed that their nuclear officials have in the past misrepresented the situation with other nuclear accidents, and so there's a bit of suspicion lingering from what we're hearing about the sort of veracity of the information.
Anna Korn has managed to make her way to northeastern Japan, where rescuers are desperately searching for any survivors 3 days after disaster struck. Anna joins us now from Higashi Matsushima. Anna, first of all, as we can see there, it is dark, it is nightfall there in northeastern Japan. Of course, temperatures, we would assume, are starting to plummet. Can you tell us a little bit about the conditions where, I guess, survivors are having to live in now?
Yeah, Monita, we are in Ishinomaki, and as you say, it's just gone 6 p.m. It is getting extremely dark, and it's also getting very, very cold.
Newspapers around the world have been undoubtedly reacting to the disaster in Japan, many of them giving credit to the country's preparations. In Thailand, the Bangkok Post has the headline, "Lessons from Japan Disaster." The paper goes on to say, if ever a country was prepared for disaster, it is modern Japan. Countless thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of lives were saved in homes, offices by proper planning and strong enforcement of building codes. The Wall Street Journal's headline is "Sturdy Japan." It says, attention turned to the safety of the country's nuclear reactors. Those serious concerns should not obscure all the things Japan got right in its preparations. And then in India, the Times of India's headline goes on to say, nature's terror. The damage in terms of human lives has been remarkably contained relative to what might have been. For that, all credit must go to successive Japanese administrations and to civil society itself. One issue, many views, and you can read all those articles in full and find tell it all, but behind the devastation is the reality that life as people knew it is forever changed. Paula Hancock joins us now from Sendai with first-hand account. Paula, we understand that you just returned from visiting a hospital there.
Well, I'm actually in Ishinomaki, which is just north of Sendai, and I was on my way to try and get to a peninsula which officials believe has been particularly hard hit. Now, we've had local news reports from Kyoto News Agency suggesting that 2,000 bodies have been found in these...
Hancock's there in north of Sendai. Thank you very much. Crews searching for the missing aren't just up against the clock, they're also battling cold weather in Japan. Jill Brown joins us now from the World Weather Center with more on that. Jill.
Monita, we have been experiencing warmer than average temperatures in the area for the last couple of days, but that's all about to change in a pretty big way, actually, with the storm system coming in. We have had highs in the in the teens the last few days. Well, for Tuesday,
some 200,000 people who live near Japan's troubled nuclear plant have been ordered to leave the area. Threats of radiation exposure are of utmost concern as authorities try to stem any leaks from the reactors. Authorities say the container protecting the core of the nuclear plant is still intact. Well, we want to go to our chief medical correspondent, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, live in Shiogama City for more on the threat of radiation and what is being done to help those in the affected area. Sanjay.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the big things is that leaves a lot of people who are displaced, what you just described, Monita. A lot of people being told to evacuate as a result of these concerns about radiation. Add that on top of, obviously, so many people's homes being destroyed as a result of the earthquake and subsequent tsunami.
Dr. Sanjay Gupta there in Shiogama City in the north of Sendai. Thank you for that. The earthquake struck 15 minutes before Japan's stock market closed on Friday. The full reaction was strong and swift this Monday. Japan's Nikkei plunged more than 6%, falling below the 10,000 mark, but the selling was less severe on other markets in the region. Woes aren't limited to the Nikkei. Early estimates suggests the damage to the country's infrastructure could top $100 billion. For more now on the effect that this colossal earthquake and tsunami could have on the Japanese economy, we cross over live now to our World Business Today's Andrew Stevens, who's joining us now from Hong Kong. Andrew.
Monita, that $100 billion could actually turn out to be a conservative number. I've seen estimates from some of the early research notes which put the numbers up as high as $170 billion. So certainly until we know the full damage of the devastated northern part of Japan, it's very difficult to pinpoint the accuracy there. Let's have a look at what happened at the Nikkei, though. Down 6.2%. That's its biggest single-day decline in 2 years. You have to go back to the dark days of the global financial crisis, the collapse of Lehman Brothers, to see a fall like this on a major global stock exchange. The big loss leaders, well, not surprising really. Toshiba, this is the company that makes nuclear reactors. Japan Electric, Tokyo Electric as well. They are all involved in the electricity, the power area. Now, Tokyo Marine is an insurance company. That is down by more than 12%. Tokyo Electric, as I said, down by 23%. They are the operators and the owners of the Fukushima nuclear plant. The automakers taking a hit as well, Monita. Toyota, Nissan and Honda all down. Toyota saying, in fact, that it's going to close all its production capacity in Japan for at least 3 days. They're going to try to reopen on Thursday morning. Toyota down by some 8%. But a very similar story among all the automakers. Now, Taisei and Kajima Corporation, these are building companies, and not surprisingly, they were much higher. Kajima particularly, it's known for its construction of earthquake-resistant buildings, and it led gains among all of Japan's construction stocks. It wasn't just Japanese construction companies rallying today as well, they were also rallying in South Korea.
Amazing. Then we take you to the tourist town of Minami Sanriku. It was one of the first places hit by the sheer power of the tsunami waves. It sits about 80 kilometers from the quake's epicenter, or at least it did. Now there's not much left. Gary Tuckman gives us a look.
This is Minami Sanriku, Japan, about 3 miles from the Pacific Ocean. Never in my career of covering natural disasters have I seen a town so utterly pulverized, just completely mowed down. But this is not from the earthquake. This is from the tsunami.
You're watching a special edition of World One live from London. I'm Monita Rajpal. Thank you for joining us. We want to give you another look at the incredible pictures coming in from Japan. And as you can see, vast amounts of debris cover a large area in Notoria near Sendai after Friday's earthquake and tsunami. This is World One on CNN.